Bronies and Pegasisters of the jury, audience, it has finally happened. I, Snakeskin94, enjoyed a Rainbow Dash episode. It was good.
What?
It was awesome.
Yes, it was.
That Daring Don't was freaking rad.
It was. It really
It was
was.
the freaking the Fluttershy Rainbow Dash interactions, the villains, the animation, the fighting, the plot, and all that. It was so good.
It was. It really was.
It was so good that it hurts
Yeah.
because I have always been an advocate anti Rainbow Dash person.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode, despite a few small things, I couldn't actually find myself disliking her character because of the way she was not only like humbled and vulnerable, but her whole
Mm-hmm.
fangirlness was just, it was honestly funny.
It was. It really
I
was.
The interactions were great. Daring Do was an awesome character. Looks just like Rainbow Dash, just
Mm-hmm.
reskinned and just recolored, but same eyes, hairdo, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, Daring Don't was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
So let's get started with our review of Daring Don't. So basically, the episode starts off with Fluttershy teaching some birds to fly, which is honestly really cute. And she even has a little diagram behind her,
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, you go up and down and up and down. It was so
Yeah,
cute.
she's teaching someone how to fly now. Symbolism.
Then Rainbow Dash
Give a
comes.
like for random symbolisms.
So then Dash comes flying in and says, 4 more months, 4 more months. And then it's like, aren't you excited? And then there's a little exchange of, why are we excited? I guess I could be excited, that kind of thing. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
in 4 months, the next Daring Do book's coming out. And
Yeah.
it's awesome. So,
It's funny because I like this kind of Fluttershy where it's like she's nice, but she's got that like dry, unintentional humor to her.
mm-hmm,
Kind of like that's I like, even though I hate the episode, I did like her characterization in Spike at Your Service for that reason.
mm-hmm, very motherly sort of figure.
Uh-huh. And this kind of Fluttershy, how she's the mature and like straight narrowed one out of her and Rainbow Dash just
Mm-hmm.
works.
Honestly, I think that Dave Polsky really gets Fluttershy in terms of her characterization.
This was Dave Polsky.
Yes, this was Dave Polsky.
Keep calm and flutter on, Dave Polsky.
Yes.
Nice. I like
So,
this dude.
yeah, I know. He's getting better with every episode he makes.
I want to support Dave Polsky button.
It's like, I believe in Dave Polsky.
Yeah. So after that, we get the intro, which is still cool to see, just to see the wide array of characters that they have in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's we flash forward, I think, like a few days, because then Rainbow Dash is going to Twilight's treehouse, tree dome
Mm-hmm.
thing, and she's
Yep.
like, 3 months and 26 days, 3 months and 26 days, 3 months and 26. She walks into the thing house, and Pinkie Pie has thrown a party. Shock, because it's random holiday day party time.
Yeah, that's kind of... And I love Rarity's reaction. It's like, I've never heard of it either, but
But
I think the punch is just simply divine.
it's quite good. Yeah, that was funny. And then Twilight, Twilight then informs Rainbow Dash that she heard that the Daring Do books, which is written by A.K. Yearling,
Which I think that's an...
which sounds nothing like J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I know. It's such a subtle reference. Symbolism!
So, no, no. You know what? No one liked the video now. Okay, I'm kidding. So Twilight informs Rainbow Dash that the book has been pushed back for 2 months due to reasons. And
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Dash, by the way, am I the only one that thinks that Rainbow Dash's character in this episode is a subtle kind of parallel to certain, I was gonna say bronies, but just fandoms in general?
Honestly, going back to Reading and Weep, which is basically the sister episode of this one,
Uh,
you see that that's a really good comparison with Bronies and how they came into the fandom. This Dash seems to be more of a parallel of a Brony who's only in the Brony fandom and doesn't have any other fandom to call home.
yeah,
Like like with me, I mean, I was fine with most of the wait between seasons 3 and 4, and then of course we had Equestria Girls, but um,
two to
I
three
had
was torture for everyone though.
yeah, because it was like I had Doctor Who to watch, I had anime, I had all this other stuff that I could do. Plus, there wasn't really a shortage of YouTube videos of Let's Plays and Brony videos and whatnot, so it was all right. Um, but I definitely see Dash as a brony who doesn't really have any other shows or anything else that he can really watch in the meantime.
Yeah, before that, before Friendship is Magic, I had stuff like South Park, Family Guy, Batman,
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Mass Effect, stuff like that. Oh yeah, Rainbow Dash gets the idea. Hey, we need to help her with her book, which I think parts of the show references that movie Misery, based on
Mm-hmm.
that Stephen King book.
Yeah.
So so the epic quest begins on a giant map that is just, it's so Lord of the Rings. There are so many references in this episode, the
It's
literature.
also technically a reference to the Indiana Jones movies as well because they had that very similar style
Oh.
of the plane flying over and whatnot.
And if you wanted to get real, and if you wanted to kind of get far out with it, you could say it's a reference to that one segment from The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So they get to the forest and they get to the cabin in the woods.
And one thing I love that happens right after they cut out of the map area is that you see that Pinkie Pie is actually drawing the red line
which
behind them.
which you could describe as a throwaway gag, but in reality, hey, he'll be able to get back home.
Exactly.
So they get to the cabin in the woods, and it's ransacked.
Mm-hmm.
And on the inside, it kind of looks like Mr. Krabs' house from that SpongeBob episode where they paint the house.
Oh my gosh, that was an awesome episode.
That was a great episode.
It was.
SpongeBob was so awesome before the movie.
Yep. And then after it just went.
Man, you could make a video just on these shows that have died just to keep SpongeBob alive. But
Yep.
that's off subject. Sorry. So they find the place ransacked. Then AK Yearling. By the way, did she have big enough glasses?
I know those glasses were ginormous.
I like Rarity's glasses because they're those smaller glasses where it's like she doesn't necessarily need them for scene, but it's so
Mm-hmm.
she can concentrate more
Mm-hmm.
and like this and that. But yeah, gets in there with a coat and stuff, and obviously. I mean, I'm assuming everyone that's watching this has seen the episode. We already kind of can guess who this pony is just based on the
Yeah.
looks, the eyes, and everything.
Although, actually, considering everything, I didn't realize that it was actually going to be a real life Daring Do.
Yeah, that
I
came right the
actually,
hell out of nowhere.
I thought that it's like, oh, A.K. Yearling is basing Daring Do off her own likeness, and that was it.
Yeah, authors do that.
But then they kind of throw that out the window when these three guys, who it really reminds me of that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark after Jones leaves and Marion is surrounded by those people. Um, and it really reminds me of that scene from the movie. But then you see that Daring Do pops up out of nowhere. You
Yeah,
know.
it's like, oh my god, and Twilight and Rainbow Dash are having nerdgasms everywhere,
Yeah.
and they're watching the fight instead of helping. Of
Hmm.
course, these guys. Of course, the stallions were pretty tough looking, even
Hmm.
though they fought in changelings, hydras, Draconek Y, Sombra,
Hmm.
and deities and crap, but 4 Stallions is. By the way, I loved the accent on the lead guy. I don't know
Oh
who voiced him,
yes.
but that because it was so like cheesy action adventure bad guy, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still he still had that hint of being dangerous like an actual 80s bad guy. It
Mm-hmm.
was that was great. So Rainbow Dash the whole time is like, ah, ah, it's AK Yearling who's daring to, ah. So
And so Twilight's also just like, my mind is officially blown. And I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna become a meme in a few days.
yeah, like bad information Fluttershy and the 2 words thing from the comic.
Yep.
So
So, also in the scene prior to these 3 stallions coming in and ransacking the place even more, um, you see
break
that
stuff.
when you see that AK Leerling comes in, she's desperately searching around for something, and apparently she's looking for a book with a secret combination, secret lock, and it comes with like this combination, and then you have to put your hoof and twist it, and
That was
then
cool.
it opens it up for this ring, and I'm like, the one ring of
Ring
power,
Oh,
one ring to rule them all.
the most obvious ring was when it fell in the fire.
Yeah,
And then they were like, "You grab it, no, you grab it, no, you grab it." And then she grabs it, and then it gets thrown onto a table, and like purple drank gets poured on it and
yeah.
cools it off.
I'm like, yes, she has a lasso, or would that be a lasso? No, that would be a whip. She has a
So
whip.
much symbolism.
More symbolism.
I mean, goddamn, how many references could they pack into this episode? A
Ex-
lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And okay, so they're like, "We need to help you." And then Daring Do's like, "I work." She's like, "Fly home, Rainbow Dash.
I
I
work
work alone."
alone.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, an Incredibles reference.
Yeah. And then, what I find really interesting is like, you always see like things that's like, wait, this is a kid show, and one of the biggest ones. One is actually in the very beginning when Dash is kind of fangirling with Fluttershy, and Aoizoldo is throwing everything he can at Daring Do, and it's like maces and knives and swords, and I'm like, how are they? How did this get past everyone? Um,
For kids.
but the second one is really that Daring Do breaks her freaking leg.
Yeah, when she was fighting the dudes, I saw that happen, and I'm just like, okay, it's probably twisted. It's broken.
No, she has a freaking splint on it.
Yeah, which she puts in herself, and then just
Yeah,
hobbles away. I mean, it's better in the next scene because cartoon, but still, that was so hardcore.
yeah.
Because I
So
mean,
metal.
it's so metal. I don't even. I don't know if anyone watching this or you, John, have ever. Wait, John, didn't you break a leg?
No. Oh, I broke an arm when
He
I was
broke a
younger.
thing, but I don't know if anyone's
Yeah,
broken a leg. But I can tell you, not from personal experience, but just from knowing people, you don't just walk away.
yeah. You don't even limp away from something like that.
Hell, when Big Boss got hurt, you had to go into the survival menu, put the split and bandage, but your
Mm-hmm.
health was down, and
Mm-hmm.
that's Big Boss.
Yeah.
So, so after that, she's walking away. Dash resolves to help her. She leaves her friends for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
but
And
then
it's like
but
that. It's why it's like that's not a plan. That's
yeah,
not a plan at all.
not the plan. This is not the plan. Daring Do still like Daring Do. I think she kind of subconsciously wanted yet didn't want her help at the same time because she told her, go home and stuff, but she didn't like. She didn't like I don't know punch her in the face and like throw her away in a ball or something.
Hmm. And
So
also, I think, well, we see in the next scene, and I think this is one of the best scenes in the entire episode, is where Dash is like, she's like so nervous, and she keeps inching ever closer to Daring Do, and she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get to fight alongside her. Maybe I could get a picture. Maybe I could. Ow! I need to concentrate. She keeps slapping herself upside the head.
Yeah, I like that not just because she kept hitting herself, but because, like I said, it showed a bit of a weaker, not weaker, but just vulnerable, more restrained. Almost, it's weird. She was serious, but it wasn't a serious moment. Because to her,
Yeah.
it's a big deal and stuff. But she's
Hmm.
trying to psych herself up, and she's just like, So I can actually say this once for Rainbow Dash: character development.
Yes.
We have character development. She is now officially more developed than Twilight.
Yep.
By the
And
way, I
so,
actually liked Twilight in this episode because she had her nerdiness, but she also had her serious leaderness when she was trying to get Dash head back in the game in a later scene.
and I mean, I love some of the exchanges between Dash and Twilight here, because like, you know,
But we
Twilight
do
has
not
always been
support
saying,
Twidash.
yeah, we do not support that. But anyway, um, you see that Twilight really just wants to leave AK Yearling alone just because it's her privacy and or daring do at this point. And you kind of see that they have like that little exchange back before Dash leaves them,
Oh
um,
god.
where they're kind of like fangirling over each other, and it's like that is like every Brony analyst discussion ever.
I thought
And
I was watching a Brony Curious versus Digi Brony video.
yeah. Also, I love in the background in this scene where Pinky just keeps nodding her head, and it's just like, is she a fan of the books too?
I wouldn't be
That would be kind of
surprised.
too. That would be kind of cool, and it would also be kind of cool to see that it's like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand where you're coming from. But sorry, you have a more valid point than you do. You know?
Which is like, I think it symbolizes the three kind of fans: the over obsessive one that
Mm-hmm.
thinks they're the biggest fan ever,
Yep.
the more refined one that just speaks about the thing when spoken to, and then you have the middle ground one that is like what you said.
Oh my gosh. Depth! Depth!
So anyway, because to get back to the story, they come across them at a campsite.
Mm-hmm.
Daring Do pretends to be someone to get him to sell the ring because he
Mm-hmm.
wants to sell the ring for money because, typical bad guy stuff. If you're not going to take over the world, you're just doing it for the money. Of
And
course.
you're going to just live the rest of your life in luxury.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, but then, what's the bad guy's name? Ali Moda?
Ali Zodel.
Yeah, Alman brother. Yeah, Axel Foley comes out of the forest, and he's like, "Give me my ring." And I'm like, "Oh my god, it's a jackal! It's a jackal!" Yeah. So, and I'm just like, "That looks awesome!"
Yeah.
So they capture Daring Do, and
Actually, before that, the one line that I love in this scene was that Ali Zodel first appears and Daring Do gets the ring and he's just like, "Give me the ring, Daring Do," and she's just like, "Ali Zodel, you know I love you, but I can't give you this ring until I've properly proposed." And then you cut to Dash, who gives like this crazy smirk that it's like, "I'm sorry, writers, but you are making it really hard for me not to see that Dash is a lesbian." Because, honestly,
right.
that face.
I'm sorry, that face made me so uncomfortable.
When yet Lauren Faust is just like, yeah, it's wrong to assume that she's a lesbian just because she has rainbow hair. But still, I'm sorry.
Lesbianism.
But honestly, that face, it's like,
That
honestly,
face.
it's like, the things I would do to that Daring Do.
It's like Twilight's Arctic Adventure. It's like, oh, the things I would do to you.
So, getting off the topic of Dat Face and Rainbow Dash's sexuality and all that, I don't want to get into that anymore.
Lesbianism.
So, anyway, go on.
Okay, so they get So Daring Do gets captured. Yes. So after she gets captured, we have one of those moments where Rainbow Dash is like, she pulls a Peter Parker from One More Day, and it's just like, Irma Gerd, it's all my fault, and Twilight's like, it's actually not your fault, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rainbow Dash is like, and then she wants to leave, and then it's like, okay, so you want to help, you want to go to her, when the book won't come out, but you don't want to go to her when she could, die.
Yeah. Although it's really interesting here because Twilight says you've put Daring Do on such a large pedestal that you forget about your own self worth. Now, let me kind of break this down a little bit.
Break it down.
It so it actually sounds logical for Dash to think like this because honestly, if you're a cocky kind of person, you honestly are gonna put people up on pedestals, and then you're gonna feel like I can't do anything now because they're so much greater than me.
True.
It could have been handled with a little bit more care, though. It really could have, because it felt way too rushed, very contrived as well. I mean, yeah, Wonderbolt Academy had this as well, um, but at least Wonderbolt Academy had some time for it to develop
But in
before she
Wonderbolt,
had that moment.
but in Wonderbolt Academy, though, all that was for nothing because she ended up getting the job.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I actually like this because I would dare say this is more